If you're curious about how to use Albert IO, I can help. I'm going to share with you how I use Albert IO to improve my student scores in AP Human Geography and AP US History. In this video, we'll explore why I use Albert IO, 3 easy ways I use it, and if you stick around until the end, we'll go over creating a lesson complete with some tips that come from hard-earned experience. Let's dive in. In case you don't know, Albert IO is a huge test bank of AP style questions, and I love it. And there are a ton of them. So, for example, my AP students in US history are currently on period 6. And if you just look over here, you can see here they have tied to the objectives, and then over here, the number of questions. And the total number of questions is like 186. It's huge. But anyway, why I use Albert IO. I use it because every year I ask my students what was most effective in preparing for the AP exam. And without fail, my students always rate Albert IO as the most effective tool. So that's a good reason to do it. All right, let's take a look at 3 easy ways that I use it. All right. Well, method number one for using this in my classroom is to review for unit exams. Every time we take a unit exam, I create a series of assignments, usually 20 to 30 questions each, and spread it out over 4 to 6 days before the test, and where students just answer those questions to get ready for the exam. So let me show you kind of how this works. So these are my classes. These are my 4 human geography classes and my 1 APUSH class. And then right here, let's go in and see what the dashboard looks like. So this is my dashboard. You can see in this class, they've answered a crazy 8,000 questions cumulatively and spent 367 hours all told between all the students. And then down below here, you can see how they're doing. This is after 350-ish questions, you can see these students are in the excelling, the proficient, the passing, and the struggling categories. Now, let me tell you real quick about my philosophy about Albert IOs and reviews. For me, I use this for students to improve their knowledge. This is a chance for them to review. I don't get hung up on the percentage they get on each one. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive for a teacher to say, don't worry about the percentage. But after many discussions with my students, they like to challenge themselves, see what they know, see what they can do, and then actually many of them will go back and study the questions they got wrong because they figured they knew the answers to the right ones. So let's go into the assignments here, and these are the assignments that I have created for my students in this past semester, and what I want to show you is what we've got here. So this is the date I assigned it. Here is the title I gave it. There are the 20 questions. You can see the average grade. And then right here, this bar quickly shows me the number who got it, who passed it. The red means struggling, and the gray is not turned in. And so anyway, as I just scroll through here, you can see all of them are roughly between 20 and 30 questions, which is about the ideal amount, because more than that, and the students just get overwhelmed and they don't really learn anything. They don't take anything away from it. So then I can go into the individual assignment. Here it gives me a quick graphic to show me whether students are mastering or excelling, right? And so you can see kind of a nice color code there. And then here are the student name, whether they submitted it on time. There's how many they got correct and how many they missed. You can see the grayed out. That means that they did not turn it in, right? It says not submitted. And then down here, you can see submitted late. Since this is for my students to review, again, I'm not going to get hung up on the amount they got correct, right? The only requirement is that you have to do it and you have to take your time doing it. So when I score these, I give students full credit for turning it in on time. I give them half credit for late and no credit for obviously not doing it. So now let's go into an individual student and let's see what's going on here. So you can see here all the questions that were on this one. You can see those are the easy questions, they're the medium questions, and then down here, a couple of difficult questions. Okay. Now, here is what the students would see, which is the really kind of cool part here, right? They are going to get a prompt, and then you can see they get a map and a question, and then down below they'd get five choices. So they go through and they make their selection, and I set it so that as soon as they submit, they can actually see the correct answer. So here we go, show the solution, right? So it shows them which one is the correct answer, tells them why they got it right, or if they didn't get it right, why are these the wrong answer? Which is incredible, right? I mean, immediate feedback, and again, that's why there are only 20 to 30 questions, so that you have a chance to actually stop and kind of read these things. And like I said, some of my students actually go back and study the ones they got wrong because they figure they know they knew the other ones, but these are the ones they need more time with. All right, so that is method number one, how I use it for reviewing for my unit exams, right? So every unit exam, we go through a series of those. Hey, if you are finding this helpful, would you hit the like button below so that this video can get shown to more teachers like yourself? All right, method number two, I use the basically I use it as a review for my midterm exam. Uh, the midterm exam is cumulative from the beginning of the year, and so I usually have 4 units on the midterm exam. And so what I'll do is I will go through and I will take these assignments that I've created, and I will reassign them to the students to get ready for the midterm exam. But the trick is to make sure that you do it in reverse order. Really helps the students if you do. So if there were 4 units, we've probably just taken the test on unit 4, so I won't have them do that one again. But I'll have them review unit 3 and then unit 2 and then unit 1, so that the information that they learned longest ago is what they review right before the test. Okay, so that's 2 ways. Method number three. Method number three is to do the same thing, but for the AP exam. I have them go through and review starting with the most recent units and work their way back to the stuff that we got at the beginning of the year. And so by this time, the students have had 2 or 3 chances to answer the questions. They have um, experienced thousands of AP style questions, which, if in case you don't know, really take like a lot of thinking, right? You have to be able to process and eliminate. They've been exposed to prompts. They've been exposed to information that maybe I didn't get to in the class, or that we didn't talk that much about. They get exposed to other documents that I don't use in my classroom. All of these are amazing ways to for students to learn, and it really helps their scores. When I started using Albert IO, I saw a significant jump in the number of students not only passing but also getting 4s and 5s. I'm curious how you currently review for your AP exams. Leave a comment below so maybe we can learn from each other. So now, for everybody who's stuck around, I'm going to walk you through creating an assignment and show you just how easy it is. So, along with this, you'll get five, 5 tips for using this, which is again based on experience. So, my 0 hour APUSH class is about to take a period 6 test. So I'm going to go in here, go into the 0 hour, and then go up to assignments. And then right here, it says create assignment. So I'm going to click on that. And then it's going to take me to my subject, right? And so then it starts at the top. It starts at period 1 and works its way down. So I'm going to scroll down to period 6. There we go. And then Here comes the tip number one, which I've mentioned before, is to create assignments that are between 20 and 30 questions long. If you do more than that, students' eyes roll back in their head and they get overwhelmed and they don't take the time to actually learn from it or practice, right? They'll just click on buttons and be done. So, tip number one, 20 to 30 questions. So, right here, I can see that there are 6 questions and 18 questions. And so, 24, that fits the criteria. So, I'm going to go through and put that in a folder. So, right here at the end, if you click on these, you'll see that you can save it to a folder, quick assign. We're going to save them to a folder so I can combine them. Now, I need to create the folder. So, right here, new folder, and I'm going to very creatively call this 6.1 because I'm going to give them a series of 6.1, 6.2, 6.3. Right, you get the idea. And my students by this point in the year know that 6 stands for period 6. All right, so create the folder. Takes just a second. And then right here. Now I need to put those questions in there. And so you can see it has 0 questions now. So I click on that and I save, and it will drop those 6 questions in there. And you can see right there, it says 6 questions added. So let's add 18 more and we'll be ready for an assignment. So save to folder. And then I'm going to add it to those 6 questions. And there you have it, added 18 more. So now I've got these 24 questions saved in a folder. So let's come over here. And if you'll notice, oops, sorry, let's move this out of the way. You'll see that that 6.1, the latest one that I created, is right there. And so I'm going to create an assignment. I want it to go to my 0 hour. And then you have to give it a name. And when I do a series of these and I'm doing them all at once, it's really convenient that the name of the folder appears right above it so I can remember what it was that I was working on. Sounds funny, but it's very helpful. All right, and I always assign them immediately, which is another tip. Just make them open, right? Because if a student wants to work ahead, why not allow them to? They know their schedule better than I do. At the same time, most students just do it on the day that it's required. And so we have a test coming up on the 6th of January. And so I need them to get started. And so here we go. I'm going to assign it for the 4th. I usually set it for 11:59 p.m., which allows them to get it done by midnight, basically. And again, not good to stay up till midnight, but you know your schedule better than I do. So here comes another tip. And this one is right here. It says allow late submissions. I recommend always setting it for allow late submissions because you never know when a student's going to be sick, their internet's going to go down or something. And so if a student is sick and they're going to make up the test, you can look at it and you don't have to give them the late points for doing it, right? But for everybody else who is on time, it shows you who was late. And if you don't do allow late submissions, then you'll have to, if you want to allow them to go in and make these up, you're going to have to actually go in and open it back up for those students. So allow late submissions really works well. And then here is a third tip, and this one I like, which is give the answers after each question. It gives them immediate feedback, right? They can see that they're getting it right or they're getting it wrong and why. So again, that's really a super handy thing for students reviewing. Okay, so now I'm going to submit. And there you go. We have just created an assignment 6.1. It's assigned and ready to go. Back to the classroom, and I'm ready to create the next assignment. So let's just take a look real quick at a let's make one where it's just even simpler, which is one that they call a quick assign. So that is, you're not combining any questions, you're not editing the questions, taking any out, you're just sending them that group. All right, so here we've got a set of 19 questions. That was pretty close. So I'm going to just quick assign it again to 0 hour and then give it a name. I was 6.6 was what it was called. I like that. Assign immediately, and this one will make due uh, on the 5th. At 11:59, allow late submissions after each question. And there you go. And I've just created that assignment. So again, very easy to do, very easy to go into and check. Let's see. Uh, Also, I recommend another tip is to spread out the Albert IOs for between 4 to 7 days before the test. Right, you decide how many questions you're going to assign, and then just spread it out over those days so that there's no more than 20 to 30, so they have a reasonable time to do it. Uh, so there you go, 20, 30 questions spread out over 4 to 7 days. Uh, Late submission, show the answer after each one. And then here is my final tip. And that is, if you're going to use it as a review like I do, make it worth a small amount of points, 10, 15 points. Usually I do like half the number of questions. So if there are 20 questions, it's a 10-point assignment. 30 questions is a 15-point assignment, and I put it in as like grade work, not like classwork, not like a grade or an assessment, right? It's not worth much. And here's the deal: these students, it matters to them that it shows up in the grade book as being completed, right? And so when you give it just a small amount of points, it's not going to change their grade much. It gives them that just little bit of incentive to make sure that they get it done, so all their grades look good in the grade book. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking with us to the end, watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all your feedback. Have a great year.